Hi, thanks for tuning in. My name is Stuart Johnson. Today we have a special guest, John Hamburger. John heads up Franchise Times Magazine and the Restaurant Finance Monitor, two of our leading trade publications in the industry. For almost 20 years now, he's sponsored two annual conferences, the Franchise Finance Conference in the spring and the Restaurant Finance Conference in the fall. Both are executive level conferences and forums for leaders in our industry across the country. If you're already watching this video, you probably know who John is, so it's a real treat to have him here today. John is going to speak with us today a little bit about the advantages of buying an existing franchise, particularly if you're coming from a different career.
I think there's an opportunity for franchisees to buy existing units and actually make money. You're buying them at less than what it would cost to buy a new franchise or to fit out, equip a brand new store or unit. And if you can buy it at 50%, 60% of what the new ones are costing, you have a tremendous opportunity to actually make a buck running one of the stores. Banks have tightened their criteria for new unit development, made it much harder for new franchisees to open units. And this has opened the door for sales of existing units because banks can take a look at an existing unit and see some history and see how they've performed. It's much easier to underwrite an existing operation than it is to underwrite a blue sky where you're just trying to estimate what the sales are going to be. Plus you have the ability in the sale of an existing unit to have the owner provide some financing to make up the gap for the difference between what the bank is going to put up and what the buyer is going to put up.
You might come from the operations side, for instance, a restaurant manager who's now going to buy her own business, or maybe you're a vice president at a corporation that is not related at all to the industry that you're considering.
Yeah, a lot of franchisees, new franchisees come from corporate America and they decide they want to go into business for themselves. And I think it's like taking a cold shower once they actually open up the store, because they assume the business is just going to start coming in droves. Now I think if you buy an existing store, you come into an existing operation, there is a base of business already there. And I think if you bring in some new energy, some new ideas, I think you can make a lot of difference. Clean up the store, maybe upgrade the store.
You know, in 1997 I bought an existing franchise business. In fact, it was distressed. It had been anemic in sales for some 8 years and almost given up by the franchise. I bought it for about 25% of what it would cost to buy it new. And in just a year and a half, we tripled revenues. Using a guerrilla marketing campaign, a local marketing strategy that really set the stage then for growth of 10 more stores in just 5 years, way ahead of my development schedule.
Yeah, I think to be successful in operating a franchise today, you have to be really involved in your community. I mean, I think you have to be involved in your local market. You need to know the local business people. You need to know the local schools. You need to know the local community organizations, and you have to be active in those because that's where your source of business is going to come from. And those that just open up a store and expect people to come rolling in are going to be sadly disappointed.
Both buyers and sellers have enormous resources at franchisesmartmarket.com. Following a step-by-step process, people get answers to questions more succinctly, more quickly, and really accelerate the process and the exchange of information back and forth so that you reach a closing date and get to the end successfully. The boardroom is a virtual meeting space where you'll move the transaction forward, but it also includes your team. And your team might have your banker, your attorney, your accountant, or others that are all involved in the transaction so that no one skips a beat. Members at franchisesmartmarket.com have access to our valuation tool and in-depth instruction and walks you through a step-by-step process that just about anybody can do, and you can run different scenarios as often as you'd like. I want to thank John for his comments today and time speaking to us about buying an existing franchise. If you've got a great story to tell that you think is a good fit for Franchise Smart Market, drop me a line. Thanks.